welcome to another episode of Top Shelf Nerds, the show for nerds, by nerds, about nerds. I am DJ, and with me today is the Professor, and Buck, our fellow nerd, is off on assignment, and will be back as soon as possible. So, let's get this show on the road, and let's begin with the first topic, which is the stars. Yeah, the first stars formed in the universe. You brought this up, Professor. So what's it about?
There's a satellite in the Atacama Desert, the Atacama Large Millimeter Submillimeter Array, which is a radio telescope of 66 high-precision antennas. This is a kind of telescope. They split them up these days because it turns out that having lots of small telescopes along a wide area gives you a much larger effective telescope dish than having one absolutely giant telescope. So you know that one from the end of GoldenEye?
Yeah.
That's not the way they go anymore. These days they build lots of smaller antennas.
So it gives the image in multiple angles.
Yeah, sort of. And you can combine that and get an effective giant dish. There was a project, don't remember if it got assigned, but we had a square kilometer array Pathfinder in Australia. They were considering either Australia or Africa, because those are two countries with big enough deserts. Put this stuff in where they won't get much radio in. And the idea was a square kilometer of smaller radio telescopes every 100 meters or however far. And that would give you an effective dish size of like a kilometer across. So they've used one of these fancy telescopes to look at the galaxy MAX 1149-JD1 and found the oldest known oxygen in the universe.
Wow. When you say oldest, is this predating the Big Bang?
No, that's physically impossible. But it is about 250 million years after the Big Bang that the first stars were formed, because the Big Bang scattered out a bunch of hydrogen over time combined into stars. And when a star dies, it fuses different elements and creates everything you see. Everything in the universe came out of a star burning hydrogen. So this is from an early star that fused oxygen.
So fusing with oxygen, that's because I know, because okay, the first question would be saying like our sun is also has our sun fused with oxygen?
Possibly, I'm not sure. But basically what happens is there's hydrogen, according to this article, hydrogen, helium, and a trace amount of lithium, and a bunch of radiation left over from the Big Bang. So the radiation is the cosmic background radiation. That's what is left of that. But the clouds of hydrogen drifted around space hundreds of millions of years. And then just due to chaos, the laws of physics, gradually they started clumping together. And as they clump, they attract more and more hydrogen and helium from around them. And when you get enough pressure from a large enough gas cloud, it ignites into a star, which is where it begins fusing two hydrogen into a helium atom. It's so nuclear physics basically is all based on this stuff. What we do is using other isotopes, but it's the same principles as what's going on inside the sun. And over time, it converts the hydrogen into helium. And when the star goes supernova, it scatters that out around the universe, where it clumps together and forms a second generation star, which performs other reaction and fuses that helium into something else. And over billions of years, you end up with enough other stuff floating around that it clumps together and forms a planet.
Wow, you just condensed the whole process into a few sentences. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a relatively simple concept. It's just on an absolutely massive scale.
So how many light years is this star? Out of curiosity.
The oxygen they found, in the galaxy MAX, blah blah blah, is 13.3 billion years away.
Wow. Oh yeah, I see it now. Within the emitted almost a billion years ago, or
that puts a 13.3 billion light years measurement they're using, which means that they now have confirmed that because of the speed of light, nothing can travel faster than light. The easiest way to get an approximate age of the universe is to look at the furthest away thing we can see and measure how far away it is. Then you can calculate the age of the universe based on that. because the speed of light tells you how far that light would have traveled. So if we can see something, then what we're seeing is that thing as it was 13 billion years ago. So we're seeing this oxygen might not even exist anymore. It might have formed into a planet or a star, but we're seeing it as it was 13 billion years ago when the light left it and started traveling to us.
So 13.3 billion. That's a mind-boggling number.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is about it that it suggests that star formation started earlier than anyone thought. It means that the article says that the stars began forming 250 million years after the Big Bang. So that's how long it takes for a cloud of hydrogen to collect and condense to a star after a Big Bang happened.
So basically, the Big Bang is the birth of the. But the Big Bang's not really the birth of the star.
No, the Big Bang is the birth of everything. There's a couple of different theories for how it happened, and I'm not sure which is prevailing at the moment. But the Big Bang is basically year zero for the universe, and it scattered hydrogen around, which then turned into stars at about 250 million years after the Big Bang.
So is that the approximate age of the universe right now would be 250 million years?
No, that's 250 million years for when this oxygen that they've discovered was created.
Okay.
Sorry, what was the question you asked? Were you asking about the age of oxygen or the age of the universe?
Age of the universe.
Yeah, so the oxygen is only 250 million years old in the data that they've collected, but it's gone on doing its own thing for the next 13.3 billion years. And whatever's going on over there, we're not going to have any idea for another 13.3 billion years.
By then we'll be, by then we'll be androids and.
Hopefully.
But this will be interesting. With these types of discoveries, you reckon this will accelerate space travel? As in,
no, not really. This is more about the structure of the universe than what we can do in it. It's just correcting the date, because up until this discovery, there was an estimate of how long it took for the stars to form, which was longer than 250 million years. So they ended up recalculating that and got to 200.
And that's, like I said, the universe is an endless space to be discovered. It's just waiting to be discovered.
Yeah.
From all this knowledge so far. And what amazes me is how the images that I'm seeing right now, they're much more clearer than the usual images we get from news articles from the Hubble telescope.
That is actually a Hubble image that you're seeing there. They've taken an image from Hubble. This image at the top of the article is Hubble Deep Field. I believe it's the new Deep Field photo. They basically pointed the Hubble telescope at a section of sky the size of a stamp, I think, a postage stamp, and took this absolutely stunning photo and discovered like hundreds of galaxies. It's one of my favorite pictures. And then they did it again a few years later when they put a new camera in the Hubble and got an even bigger and better image. And then they've overlaid the red part of the image, a representation of what they can detect with the ALMA telescopes.
That will be the image looks spectacular.
Yeah.
You reckon we'll get more of these antennas in the near future?
Yeah. Well, if Square Kilometre Array is still going ahead, we'll check. They're going to build an even bigger array with Square Kilometre Array. And the thing is, we don't even need to stop there. We can build hundreds of basically satellites and launch them into space and have an even bigger one.
Although the downside would be you get a lot of astronomers going, "Hey, I see another telescope. Oh, I see another telescope. Oh, I see another telescope."
It's pretty standard though. They you see satellites like if you go out at the right time of night when the satellites, you just see dozens of them moving past. If you use a sky tracker, they're everywhere.
Must be annoying for the astronomers when they look up, seeing every satellite known to man just going.
Not really. It only takes a few seconds for them to get out of your field of view. They move quite quickly.
Oh,
unless they're GPS satellites, which are geostationary. But you can look around them fairly easily. It's not a big issue. In the scale of the universe, they're tiny and really easy to not even know.
Well, and maybe with these arrays, it can be operated remotely, hopefully in the near future as well.
Well, that's the design of it.
Oh, nice.
And I just brought up the Square Kilometre Array site. It looks like they're still picking between Australia and Africa.
So for the location or for the
for the location.
Who's operating it?
It's probably being operated by. I'll just look that up. I don't know.
Because there, from what I've gathered, there is one from this article is from the Japan University, Osaka.
The First Stars one.
Yeah, the first
Yeah,
stars
that's
one was.
not related to SKA though. The SKA organization looks like it's a global organization of scientists science departments who are working to create a bloody great telescope. We got the International Union of Radio Science. They founded the SKA project.
Huh. So it's a global initiative.
Yeah,
It's much like the International Space Station.
kind of, but with even more participants. And they've picked, they've got trial programs running in Australia at the moment because we have so much land that isn't contaminated by light or radio pollution.
I think this type of technology has
Yeah,
potential. It can, with advances in technology recently, it can. I hope it does a lot better. I have faith that it will do a lot better.
yeah. It looks like they're holding the final review this year. So if they approve that, it looks like it'll go ahead and they'll start developing the full-sized project.
How big have they said? Like, have they done the schematics on how big the full size is going to be?
Well, it's called the Square Kilometer Array, but I have no idea how big that's going to be.
Yeah, from what I've gathered, I'm looking at the site as well. The 500. All they're saying is 500 engineers and scientists from 20 countries, consortium.
Oh, I might have misunderstood it actually. It's not being decided between Australia and Africa. They're building two SKA units, one in South Africa and one in Australia.
Oh,
So I'm not sure if that means they need both of them to get the full kilometer size.
well,
Field?
it'll be like two eyes and looking at the sky.
Yeah.
Put it that way. Two robotic eyes looking at.
Just like yours.
Speaking of robotics, an interesting conference occurred in Brisbane this past week. It was the International Robotics Conference. It was showcasing all the robots that were showcasing all the robots and attracted 3,000 experts in the field. And this is actually the good thing about it is this is the first time in 35 years history of the event held in the Southern Hemisphere.
Cool.
And the great thing about this is Queensland University of Technology is the leader in robotics research and the home to the Australian Centre of Robotics Vision.
Yeah, we had a pretty good robots program when I was there.
Yeah. And some of the stuff they showcase, including one to help save the Great Barrier Reef.
Oh, I like that. That one's a drone to hunt crown of thorns starfish.
Yeah, by injecting and killing them with bile salt.
Yeah, that's really cool because those things are absolutely nasty. They're really hard to kill.
So basically they're like the cane toad and the rabbit.
Yeah. Just they eat coral instead of everything else.
But still, I think this is a good step just to have like a lot of experts come to the Southern Hemisphere and get like more opinions and ideas on robotics in general.
Yeah, it's nice to have a big convention like this here because we can have dozens of people here who don't have the opportunity to go to America or Europe to visit another, and that means we're missing out on a bunch of talent.
Yeah, and what they're saying is we also want to. They're also saying they want to make it user friendly and targeting people who don't have a technical background, such as students, fishermen, and management authorities. So it's good to get people involved in general.
Yeah, it's robot design is a big part of robot design is speaking to the public and finding out what they need and what you can help them, because it doesn't help anyone if you build a robot that can't do the job.
It doesn't. And nowadays people are getting really savvy with outside the classrooms robotics. Yeah, this would be the best place to showcase their talent.
Yeah.
But having a look at the other robots, there's a reef protector. There was also a keynote speech by Professor Rodney Brooks, who was the guy behind the Roomba robotic vacuum cleaner. Funnily enough,
Is Professor Rodney an Australian?
yes, he is.
Oh, that's cool. We have a lot of cool inventions coming out of Australia in the years. Wi-Fi
Uh,
is an Australian invention.
yeah. What was the other? Oh, a lot of inventions came from Australia. What was the
Yeah,
other one? Oh, you were saying, Professor?
I did a short period of work at the CSIRO a few years back.
Oh, yeah.
It was a summer scholarship program basically for people in between uni semesters. And one of the things I kept seeing was this shirt people were wearing that was like a band shirt with the tour dates on it, except it had CSIRO's greatest hits and it had Wi-Fi, uh, rust-resistant wheat, all of the everything that the CSIRO's done written down with dates, like it's a band T-shirt.
Oh, I think I see it. I see it on Google Images. There are some really good ones. Here we are. 1953 solar hot water system. 1961 ultrasound scanner. Wi-Fi. 1992 the Wasp. For those who don't know, the Wasp is an invention. Second, what's that one? You heard about the Wasp, didn't you,
Yeah, I
Professor?
know the name. It's not quite coming to mind yet, though.
I also remember it was a night.
Here it is. It's part of automating the mining.
Oh, nice.
A WASP sensor is radios. It's called WASP because it's a wireless ad hoc system for positioning. So looks to me, just giving this article, it's a tracker for the miners. So if there's a collapse, you can track where they are and find them.
Ah, nice. So our invention could have been would be useful with those Chilean miners a while back.
Yeah, and yes, these government science organizations produce some absolutely amazing stuff. This was actually the WASP was developed at QCAT, which was where I was working, and out
Nice.
the back they had this mining equipment that had been set up for like self-driving and stuff.
I'll post it up the link to the image
Yeah,
of the greatest hits. Here's another interesting thing about it. Plastic banknotes came out in 1988.
yep. And Canada only just brought them in a couple of years back. I don't know if that's patents or anything, but they are amazingly secure compared to what the US use.
Paper money.
Yeah, I don't know compared to most other countries, but the US paper money is not suitable.
It's easily counterfeitable as well.
Yeah,
But CSIRO has done some pretty wild things. I used to myself work at CSIRO at one stage, and I was in a different division, which was the water quality division, and it was fun just testing out water qualities of people's water tanks during the drought era, during the recent drought couple of years, and telling them that they have animal poop in their water tanks. They should not.
lovely. Yeah, everyone says they like the taste of water tank water, but that's a very subtle taste. It's an acquired taste formed from the corpses of rotting possums, bat shit, leaves.
Birds.
Yeah,
But anything that can crawl into a water tank, basically.
pretty much.
Although they remember how they envisaged the idea of recycled water, and many people were saying no to that idea.
Yeah, even though it's significantly cleaner than any other water treatment.
Hey, I was originally born in a country where recycled water is a thing, and it's still a thing, and it was
Yeah.
so much nicer to drink.
It's not going anywhere. It's a great system. It does the job
Yeah,
better than almost anything else.
yeah. But but back to what I was talking about. So yeah, CSIRO, when it comes to developing technologies and scientific methodologies, it's a great organization to work for.
Yeah, the world leaders.
Yeah. Well, world leaders until governments come in and do some crazy.
Yeah.
That'll be another
next topic. Ignore the politics.
Next up, but speaking of scientific organizations, Princeton have come up with have done some interaction with gamers to do brain mapping. This was your topic as well, Professor.
I love these. This is basically a program they put out. It's a browser-based program that lets you solve puzzles and work out how the brain is mapped. So it's grunt work that they need to get done, but these days they're doing a lot of it by outsourcing it to just your average person. Actually, I'll bring it up later when we talk about the stargazing, but there's a project that they were pushing there during that, which is the same sort of idea, but citizen science, because there's just no way to get enough scientists and pay them enough to do all the work they need to do. and then they put together these little games and let people screw around in them and come up with new arrangements. And you basically got so many people playing, you can get so many permutations on it, and you take the ones that match and throw out the ones that are obviously someone gaming them or hacking or whatever, and you can come up with some really good scientific data.
Yeah. Didn't they do a similar system to this a couple of years back, as far called?
For what
It
field?
was I think it was for microbiology.
Probably. It's a big thing these really took off in the last couple of years.
Wait a second. Yeah, it was in 2011. It was a microbiology puzzle.
Okay.
So let me load it up. This is the right, but it was similar. It was a similar sort of concept.
Yeah, that looks familiar. There's quite a few of them. If you know where to look, you can find these, and they're great just for wasting a few minutes while you're watching TV or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. And there was another one. I think that's the same one for the monkey. It was a monkey virus.
Sorry, a monkey virus?
A Game of Soul monkey virus puzzle.
Okay.
I think that's the same game as well. So
Yeah.
but yeah, it's cool to get like it's cool to get guys the average person to get involved in the scientific field.
Absolutely. And hopefully a few people will play this and realize like it'll give them the spark they need to go into hard science.
Yeah, and the
Could
bright
always
side
do with a few more of them.
the bright side is they don't have to go into a certain dodgy lab and get paid a couple of $50 and get subjected to weird drugs.
Hey, that's not that weird. No, actually, I've never done any.
I think in
I've
America
been
it's a
there.
big thing.
Yeah, I don't think they pay you for it here. They can't really pay you for that sort of stuff because that's a conflict of interest. But
Yeah.
here I've been a part of like a guinea pig for some studies into game design. I noticed that they'll usually have a bit of a lottery draw. They'll give you a $50 iTunes card or something.
So that's
But they
that's
can't pay
better
you
than nothing.
directly.
Yeah,
Conflict.
that's a downside to it. Downside. But do you think this will? But then my biggest fear though, when it comes to citizen scientists, I will also ask, is the whole where do these citizen scientists get their information from? Is it off the
From actual scientists. What a citizen scientist is someone who helps provide data. So if they go out walking and they see a koala, then they can log the koala and use that as a net for population size. Or if they play this game, they come up with new layouts for brain cells.
That sounds like that'd be a great
Yeah.
job. Great job.
It would be, I reckon. It's the sort of thing I think would be fun to do as a game, but not as a job.
I think the ABC. I think the ABCF are looking for citizen science. If my memory serves me right, or I could be wrong.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'll bring it up now. They were holding a sort of competition over the last few days with the stargazing competition, their world record attempt. They were pushing one of these citizen science projects to discover was it neutron stars? Supernovas, that's it. So people were looking for supernovas in images of space that were taken by a telescope at some point. And when they found one, they would mark it as contained supernova. And once they get enough confirmation, and they can log it. And over the 2 days, over the 4 days that they did stargazing, they found 2 supernovas and came up with their own estimate of the age of the universe.
So as I heard that they might revise the age of the universe apparently as a result.
Yeah, only slightly.
When they say only slightly, are they meaning by a few million years or by a few
500
thousand?
million years.
I
think it was 500 million years.
Yeah, that's a rough estimate I've heard as well. About 500 million, but yeah, about 500,000 years.
Oh.
So in other words, the cosmos appears to be 13,798,150,500 years old, give or take, instead of 616,064. Though it's a very rough calculation.
And tying into the first stars thing, that's older than the numbers we were quoting earlier, because that's the actual age since the Big Bang, not the age stars form.
Oh, but we will never. I think within our lifetimes we will never know the real age of the universe.
Well, it's just going to keep getting extended backwards.
No, I bet you. Imagine if one day it becomes extended backwards to the point where the Bible was right.
That would be impossible
It'd be like, imagine someone would
because the age of the universe, as calculated by people who read the Bible, is 6,000 years old,
yeah,
and we're
yeah.
already well beyond that.
Oh yeah, yeah. Thanks to carbon dating and other
Yeah,
scientific methodologies.
like 6,000 years is a blink in the age of.
Yeah, yeah, definitely,
Our
definitely.
solar system's 4.5 billion years old.
4.5.
Yeah,
I was guessing I was guessing a much more smaller number, but wow, 4.5 billion years old. That's
yeah, that's the age of the sun, and you can basically the age of the planets as well, because the sun and the planets all formed out of the same gas cloud.
yeah. So with this whole with using gamers, with the use of gamers, they've now been also put into a biodiversity project.
Is this another citizen science initiative?
It is. So basically the gamers are used. So these gamers are driven by citizen scientists by mapping biodiversity, discovering new species, and averting biosecurity risks using apps to collect data for research. So they're basically these mobile apps challenge players to take photos, identify plants, and give it to the scientists through data via data.
Cool.
And it's by Australian startup. It's funnily enough, it's Australian. It's made by an Australian startup company called Questa Game. And as I'm seeing it now, it's growing by 25% each month. So that's a lot of people
Yeah,
getting involved into this. So this is like Pokemon Go, but for science.
nowhere near that popular though.
No, yeah.
But yes,
If
this is the sort of thing I was talking about with counting koalas. They're sending people out, like just average people going out in the field and recording and actual scientists can then go and analyze that data and come up with findings.
Yeah, and it's pretty good. I think it's a good way to get people out of the couches and into the fresh air.
Yeah,
But the interesting discovery with this app was they found a wasp pest threat. Yeah, wasp threat. Where one player found a wasp that nobody seemed to identify in Australia, but an international expert identified it, and it saved Australia.
so this is a immigrant. What's
Yeah,
I can't remember the term off the top of my head for an animal that travels.
invasive.
Invasive, yeah. So it's an invasive wasp, and it was found by people playing this game.
Yeah, yeah. They identified this threat, and it's never been recorded in that part of Australia before.
Ooh. And
They,
looking at this, they found a couple of new species and gotten only the second photo of a particular bird that lives in Bhutan.
huh. This is actually it's quite amazing how you've got science has evolved into gaming.
It's called gamification. It's been a concept for many years, but we are now seeing it actually come into effect as a force. So, right, it's based around the concept of taking your average task and making it like a game, so enjoy doing it.
This will be so. You reckon this takes out the whole choosing giving out surveys to people and saying, would you like to join us in this thing? Would you reckon that type of methodology will slowly
No, I don't think gamification is suited to replace that. I think what it is good at replacing is stuff that training. If you make a game where you operate the factory line instead of having to actually just sit through a lecture and then go out on the factory line and work from memory, that's a really good way to gamify a training. Or these protein folding and star finding game that we're talking about are really good ways to make sure that people get work done, but also making it fun for players.
Yeah. Although, like I said, but then the downside with with all these scientific games is you don't get prizes though. That's the unfortunate. Imagine like getting
No. Well, some of them do have like a lottery prize or rewards that you can earn. And there is another thing that I do that is related. I run Boink Computer, which is a program, the Berkeley Open Initiative for Network,
Oh yeah.
which is distributed computing. The Berkeley organization that runs it sends data packets to people who run the software, and those people do the processing of the data packet and send it back. It got started to run the SETI because so much data comes in from the Arecibo telescope. Again Actually, I think the Arecibo is actually the one that's in Golden.
Wait, Arecibo, I've heard that name before. I think that is
Yes, it
GoldenEye,
is.
but yeah.
Yeah. So that's the telescope that they were using for SETI, and it collects literal truckloads of data. The internet speed is too slow, so what they do is load it into a truck and then deliver it to a place that has fast enough internet with the data. And that so they record the data. Sorry, actually, the Arecibo telescope is not near the Atacama, somewhere else, but they record the data, put it on a truck, ship it to. They might even ship it all the way to Berkeley. I can't remember. But then they upload it to the internet, process it into data packets, send out the data packets. I process the data packet and send it back to them. And once enough people do the data packet and confirm that it's accurate, I get points, like magic internet points. But some people have taken that and combined it with magic internet money, Bitcoin, to come up with something called grid coin, where you get paid to do this processing. Only a very small amount, but it you
How
can get
small
paid
is-
to. I get paid. When I was doing this regularly, I got paid about 5 grid coin a day, which at current prices is about 50 cents, I think.
Ah,
Check the price chart.
while he's checking the price charts, here's some interesting facts about the Arecibo telescope. Yes, you were right, Professor. This was in GoldenEye. But there were other movies. It was involved in other movies such as Contact. But one about the woman in the pod going to a different dimension. It was also featured in the X-Files. The TV series Little in an episode called Little Green Men. Species was also involved in that movie, and it was also involved in in Battlefield 4, the game. Well, inspired by the Observatory, but
Yeah, and
was
it's in
featured.
Just Cause 2.
Yeah.
It's
So this
such
is
a dramatic, imposing design.
yeah. Oh man.
I've pulled up the price charts, and 5 grid coin is about 25 Australian cents.
Wow. So that's not
Uh,
that's nothing.
no, honestly, nowhere near profitable.
No,
But it is nice to get a little bit of something for doing scientific work.
yeah. Well, science does require sacrifice.
Mhm.
But speaking of science,
Again,
oh, yeah,
because
again.
we've had science,
We have
robots,
been-
science.
This has been a lot.
Science.
There's a lot of science. But this is a science episode. Speaking of science, though, there was something about sperm whales recently. A lot of sperm whales have been dying off, and
No, actually, you read that wrong. The article was about a extinction event that happened 100,000 years ago that killed off most of the sperm whale. If you look back at the genetic line of different creatures, you can find out where there was a bottleneck in their evolution, where most of them were killed off by something. So in this case, they've done the calculation and come up with they've estimated about 10,000 whales about 100,000 years ago, which was in the middle of an ice age.
yeah, saying something. This was about the sperm whales.
Yeah.
And
And then we miswiped them out again. Or not so much the sperm whales, but other species.
but they're saying it's a genetic. The sperm whales themselves are a genetic puzzle. So
Yeah, well, the puzzle they're talking about is that their genetic diversity is so low, even though they're able to spread so far and diverse areas. Because with that much genetic spread, what should be happening is a fairly high genetic diversity.
yeah, then there'll be less chance of mutations as well.
Well, since they can breed together, like a sperm whale from the Atlantic can breed with one from the Pacific, what would happen is that the mutations spread out among the entire world population, as opposed to if the Atlantic whales had a mutation that prevented them from breeding Pacific whales, we'd see them split into 2 branches.
But is this a sign though that we're seeing we might possibly see the sperm whale getting endangered in about 20 odd years? Or
No,
is this
currently there's 360,000 sperm whales, all descended from that one population of 10,000 whales. And that's I believe that's a fairly decently healthy population for whales. I don't think they're going to go extinct, especially now that whaling has stopped being.
Well, it depends which country though.
Yeah, but even Japan and Norway and the few other countries that do whaling are really only taking a very small amount.
I guess so. But with the whaling population, if my memory with whaling, my memory serves me right, there was the whaling federation, international whaling, the federation that oversees the whole whaling. They did it was initially saying they saying no whaling, and then Japan bypassed it by saying they're doing it for scientific inverted commas
Yeah.
purposes.
And there's small populations of Inuits and other Arctic dwellers who are allowed to hunt whales because that's their history, their culture.
Yeah.
And because the population is so small, they take a couple of whales a year. So what in the grand scheme?
It's the International Whaling Commission. What it's called.
Okay.
So currently, Japan, Russia, and other nations oppose this moratorium, and it's basically saying that their main duty is to keep under review and revise the certain measures that lay down the schedule. Blah blah blah. Set limits on number and sizes of whales which may be taken, prescribed open and closed seasons. And prohibit the capture of suckling calves and female whales accompanied by calf.
Okay, so basic conservation effort.
Yeah. And the last meeting in 2014 in Slovenia.
Slovenia. Why Slovenia? I thought that was landlocked. No, maybe they're not.
Yeah, no, actually, they're so 2014.
Yeah, they have a very small seaway.
2014 was Slovenia. Then if you go and then they did 2016 was also in Slovenia. Mostly Slovenia. 2014 was Slovenia. Then they went to Slovenia again. Then it was at San Diego. And then Slovenia. Slovenia is the place to be.
That's an interesting choice. I wonder if it's because it's fairly central for the Nordic countries, Russia, Japan. You could get more central, I guess, but I wonder if that's the reason why they picked Slovenia.
Yeah.
So I didn't know there were whales in the Mediterranean. I don't know, I'm not a whale expert.
Well, none of us are whale experts, but wait, minke would minke whales?
No, they're a southern whale. Okay, we have a northern and a southern.
This would be interesting. Oh yeah, there's the common minke whale and Antarctic whale.
Yeah, and they do live in the far north. They were discovered by a Danish guy. So looks like it's could have been, but yes, there are whales in the Mediterranean. I've got an article here. I'll put in for you to put in the show notes.
Oh, yeah.
A documentary was released in 2008 about the whales in the Mediterranean. It's pretty crazy that sperm whales live in the Mediterranean, such a shallow ocean, and sperm whales dive way down and have fights with giant squid.
Yeah, and I think their main diet involves krill and dolphin and seal. My God.
Pretty cushy life being around sperm whales as long as you're not krill, dolphin, or seal.
Yeah. Well, if only mermaids
would. So that's
what
the sperm whales eat, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And giant squid occasionally.
Krill, the sperm whale diet. I think that's the general whale diet.
No, that's baleen whales. Sperm whales have teeth. Baleen whales have bristly hair. Instead of teeth, they have basically mats of hair that they can use to make a filter.
Yeah.
And they scoop up a mouthful of water, close their mouth, and basically grit their teeth in the form of a baleen plate, which is the hairy bit, and then squeeze the water out, so they're left with a mouthful of krill.
So similar to humpback whales as well.
Well, a humpback is, I believe that's a baleen, so yes. Yeah. But sperm whales can actually go and hunt things.
Just looking at here, sperm whales can dive for over an hour. Giant squid comprise of 80% of the sperm whale's diet, and the remaining 20% is comprised of octopus, fish, shrimp, crab, and even small bottom-living sharks.
My favorite thing about the sperm whales is when they come up and they've got like sucker marks and hooks stuck in from giant squid, and it's like, we have not seen anything that big before. There is some seriously big squid down there. I'm not going into the ocean anymore.
And then the sperm whales are like, yeah, I fought this guy. This guy's nothing.
Yeah.
It's like I'm having this picture like the sperm whales as like the canary. Before you go into a dangerous mine, you get the canary out
and send it in to go and eat all the giant squid.
Yep. Just go like, okay, sperm whale, it's your turn. And then comes back. It's like, yeah, good boy. Oh, that would be Imagine having a sperm whale as a pet.
You
Be a
wouldn't want to have to dispose of the body. I've been around dead whales and they are not pleasant.
Speaking of dead whales, I think I saw a documentary a long, long time ago how a town tried to
They blew it
dispose
up
of. Yeah, and it was horrifically bad.
and it crushed the car.
Yep.
Just chunks of whale raining from the sky. That
It
would have
was.
been terrible.
How much gunpowder did they use that thing again? It was just.
Would have been tea or something.
Yeah, it was T. I think it was
Not
TNT.
gunpowder.
Whale blown. It was a very frightening experience when you see the whole whale just turn from one big mass of meat to wow, it's gone. It's just vaporized.
That's why they usually bury them.
So they don't get the floating whale.
They don't get the what?
So they don't get the trawlers to bury them out into the sea.
No, I've never heard of them doing that. I think it would be a waste of effort. What
Yeah.
I've seen though is when I had the lovely experience of meeting a dead whale, was they pulled out a bulldozer and dug up the beach, pushed it in.
Oh,
This was
man.
on a small beach somewhere on the south coast, South Australia, Victoria, maybe, I think. Might have been Tasmania. Either way, it's they basically put it in a hole and covered it with sand. And the bulldozer driver was upset because the bulldozer hit a covered rotting whale.
Oh, speaking of exploding whale, this so it was in Oregon, Florence,
Yeah.
Oregon, in 1970, where a dead sperm whale, reported to be a gray whale, was blown up using dynamite. Didn't say how much dynamite did they use, but
Too much.
yeah, too much.
It's like the Paul Jennings story as well.
Yeah, I remember that one. I think it was ambergris.
Yeah, it
Ambergris?
was about
Yes, that's
which is
the one.
a substance that dead whale, no, sperm whales make really good in perfume.
Yes,
But the plot of that book was basically kid had to crawl into the whale's stomach to plant the dynamite, and
Yeah.
when they blew it up, his caravan got hit by a chunk of ambergris.
I think I also remember his he had a watch. He had a watch, and his
Yeah.
watch was trapped in the whale.
Yeah, it came off in the whale and got stuck in the ambergris.
Yeah, and he found it. But yeah, with the explosion in Oregon, it threw whale flesh over 800 feet away. And this was another interesting one in terms of exploding whales. In Taiwan in 2004, there was a case of a spontaneously bursting whale carcass. And the buildup of gas inside a decomposing sperm whale caused it to burst into a crowded urban area while it's being transported to post-mortem.
So they had it like on a truck.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh man. Oh, that smell.
That doesn't wash out.
Oh no, it will take a long time. Oh, here it is. So it was a well-known explosion. Explosion resulted in natural cause, buildup of gas. It was later determined that the whale had most likely been struck by a large shipping vessel, damaged its spine. So it was beached. It took 3 cranes and 50 workers more than 13 hours to shift the whale onto the back of the truck.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Most
while
of the time it was because they spent a bunch of time running away to vomit.
And Taiwan News reported that while the whale was being moved, a large crowd, more than 600 people, along with vendors selling snack food and hot drinks, braved the cold temperature to watch the workmen try to haul the dead whale. 600.
Lovely.
The burst whale splattered blood and entrails all over surrounding shop fronts and cars. The explosion did not, however, cause injuries or prevent researchers from performing a necropsy on the animal. Oh man, that would have been horrible.
Yeah, very unpleasant.
Oh yeah. Shall we move on? Shall we move on?
Let's move on.
Before
I remember the smell of the whale and happily.
Oh, okay. So on a lighter, so it seems on a lighter note, seems that Netflix will be having more star power added in the form of the Obamas,
Are
and
they really stars?
well,
Like,
they're
not that I'm saying they're bad politicians or anything, but are politicians really stars? Maybe Ronald Reagan because he was an actor first, but I feel like stars should be reserved for actors and creative.
if you put it this way though, Barack Obama, he's been in numerous Marvel comic books. If only Buck was here, Buck would be bashing that
I'll
top
do it
part.
for you, you bloody Marvel morons and bloody Marvel hippies.
He was featured in Marvel comics. I think he did a cameo appearances in a couple of TV shows. He they were trying to make a Obama biography movie at some stage.
I love that he just embraces.
Oh yeah,
Like when he was in the White House, every now and then they do I don't know if it was for the White House Correspondents' Dinner or something, but they do skits.
yeah.
There's a couple of them on YouTube. Like there's one where he has a great big biscuit, chocolate chip biscuit, not a cookie, America, biscuit, and he goes to dip it in his glass of milk, but it won't fit. It's just like, it's too big. Thanks, Obama. And another one where they have him running a lap of the White House with Joe Biden, and he gets back inside and he's like, how long did it take me? 10 minutes. Was I fast? No, I pushed it 9/11.
But the other thing with the Obamas though, Michelle Obama has been more. She was also more active in terms of she
she had the big health program.
Yeah, and and I think the Obamas will also have the Easter book readathon as well.
Okay.
And
like the one we used to have before it got cancelled.
Yeah. What else? And also Michelle Obama would be in a lot of talk shows as well, like Colbert, Kimmel, I think Letterman on stage.
Okay.
But yeah, but the Obamas they're so what's happening now? What's happening is that Netflix are partnering with Barack and Michelle Obama to produce inspiring TV shows and films. So, this will be interesting. This will be interesting. The Obama brand getting enhanced by Netflix?
I see it more as them enhancing Netflix. Like they don't have to do it. They have a good pension president. It's one of those things. They're just passionate about education, which is why they're doing this.
Yeah, but before Obama became president, he was still famous though. Like how when Obama went to England, was it president or before president? He went to Europe, and many Europeans thought of Obama as JFK, as like a hip version of JFK.
Yeah, unlike Trump, who some European countries are trying to ban.
But that's a funny thing though. Obama is doing Trump in the reverse way. In like from president to TV star, it's the TV star the president. So
yeah.
But there's what they're basically saying is that they want to their content will aim to inspire hope and change. God, that sounds like a political slogan already.
That was basically his political slogan.
Yeah. And so they've created a production company to create this content called Higher Ground Production, because and the motto is when they go low, we go high.
What does that mean?
I think that's I think it's basically saying, oh yeah, we can do better or something. But
okay.
But yeah, I don't know. Is this kind of like Obama trying? I know it's basically the Obama brand getting enhanced with Netflix, but you reckon people are gonna buy it though?
Yeah, I don't see why people wouldn't be happy with Netflix doing this. I mean, apart from the Trump supporters within the article.
Yeah.
But they're doing it out of a love for education. So
yeah,
I don't see why most people would have a problem with that.
Well, they're saying here it's while it's a multi agreement, they might do like debates as well. So they'll be doing like debates and documentaries and maybe a couple of TV show, a couple of movies as well. So yeah, I just think like people are saying like, oh, this is identity politics again, which I think
just ignore those people.
But
they're just trying to make politics certain places where it doesn't need to be.
Yeah, I agree with you. Although I will say this though, there are a couple of, besides the Obamas getting into Netflix, a very known creator is also getting involved into Netflix, as we discovered earlier this week. Matt Groening from The Simpsons.
Yes, Disenchanted. I'm so excited.
You see,
Basically,
I know.
Futurama in. You know that old thing where they say it's X in space?
Yeah.
It's like the opposite of that. Futurama in medieval times.
So does that mean we get the same old cast and Zoidberg in the new series as well?
No, a new cast, but it seems to have a lot of the same style. The art. I think Matt Groening does all the character designs himself, but the art is very obviously his. The character pretty similar. I'm pretty sure it's been a while since I read the article, but I'm pretty sure one of them's a drunk, all that sort of stuff. I think it's going to be pretty similar to Futurama, different setting.
Although my concern is, are they gonna do like what they did with Futurama, and there's cancel it, bring it back, cancel it, bring it back, cancel it, bring it back?
No, I think they've learned that lesson now.
There are some voice actors that they're also in the in this show, like Billy West.
What a stupid name.
I know. He's the guy that did Fry, Farnsworth, Zoidberg, and Zap on Futurama.
You know, looking at this again, the elf character almost looks like Billy West.
Elfo.
Not Billy West. Fry. Yeah.
It does sound like Fry.
Well, it looks like him. I mean, I don't know why. It's just the facial structure, I guess. I'm not great at faces.
But I hope this series lasts long.
A hard-drinking young princess named Bean, so we've got the Bender character. An elf companion named Elfo, so we've got the Fry character.
Yep.
And a personal demon named Lucy. Is that I don't know which Futurama character that would mismatch.
Lucy.
The chaotic evil sort of one.
It's voiced by a man.
Yeah.
Judging by his comedy style, so I reckon he would either be, who's the darkest character in the Futurama series? The dark comedy guy.
I don't know. There's a lot of them.
I think the professor might take dark comedy.
Yeah.
Or maybe Hubert.
Nah, probably Mum.
Oh yeah.
Mum's one of the dark.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. There's a whole lot of dark stuff that Futurama. The first episode is bloody suicide booth.
Hey, speaking of suicide booths, though, I think that I did read an article once that the suicide booths are now a thing. They're now real.
Expect that's a design that hasn't actually been made, because I feel like I would have heard about it if it was.
In a second, if I saw some, it was based in some, I don't know where it was, but here we are. Suicide booth that will kill you with the press of a button. The device is called Sarko.
Okay.
And Philip Nitschke showed this invention at the Amsterdam Funeral Expo.
Amsterdam, that would accept. That must have been open about assisted suicide in Switzerland and Holland, rest of the world.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, I'm pretty hyped about this shit.
Yeah.
If it's anything like Futurama, it's gonna work out well.
Uh-huh. But yeah, shall we head to the shoutouts?
Yep.
Cool. So what do we have for shoutouts? So you did you were part of the World Stargazing. Yeah.
I went out to the city, which is a wonderful spot to see the stars. Not great because there's so many lights around, but at least we got a good look at the moon. I borrowed a friend's telescope, a refractive telescope, and it was stunning. Sorry, a reflector telescope, so one of the big fancy ones. And Dr. Carl was there. Got a photo with Dr. Carl.
Oh, that must have been great.
Yeah, I've met him a couple of times at book signings and stuff.
Did you ever get a debate with him?
No, you don't really get much time to talk. He's a pretty busy guy, but he called me his new BFFF, best friend forever.
So
it's only 2 Fs, not 3 Fs, but you get the point.
So I take it you and Dr. Carl will be exchanging numbers and exchanging Facebook messages in the near future.
Nah, he calls everyone that.
Uh-huh.
Seriously, if you watched the Stargazing live show last night, he had a chat to someone and he's like, I'm my new BF.
Everyone's my best friend from now on.
He's a cool guy though. Yeah, but the world record was 7,500 people set in 2015, and we got over 40,000 people, and they're still counting it.
Yeah, I heard they broke
it. Still confirming the exact count.
Oh, that would be. Oh, imagine how many people you reckon the final number would be. I give it 60K.
I honestly have no idea what to expect.
But I think I hope next year they break that record again.
Yeah, It's a
Get
cool concept.
yeah.
Next time I mostly went into the city because of the record and because I left it too late to organize my own thing. But I did hold a stargazing camp a few years ago for my scout group, and it didn't work out because it rained all weekend. So I'd love to do that again.
Yeah. But that's what's cool though. Imagine that'd be cool, Professor, having your name say the Professor Guinness World Record attendee for Stargaze. That'd be a great title.
Yeah, and I'm Times Person of the Year 2006.
Really?
Yep, I have climbed one of the 7 summits.
Which one?
Kosciuszko, the easy one.
Ah, that's it. Yeah, that's the.
I think they changed it a few years ago though, so I'm not sure if I still count.
But then I'll do the stargazing event though. When you said that you saw some beautiful sights and was Hitler on the moon?
No, I did not see Hitler on the moon. Hitler is not on the moon, which is our next topic. Hitler is definitely not alive on the moon because some scientists and researchers have done a test and they've confirmed that the evidence they have is of Hitler's bodies. That means that Hitler is not on the moon. He is on Earth in pieces because they only have part of his skull or something.
When did they come up with this stuff? Like, what was it? What were the conspiracy theories? We faked the moon landing. 9/11.
So that Hitler wouldn't see it's obvious.
Yeah. Hitler faking his death. Flat Earth.
Yeah, Hitler running away to Argentina.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which is the most plausible one out of all of them because there's a bunch of other Nazis up in Argentina.
Yeah, yeah. I remember The Simpsons doing a funny joke on doing a lot of Hitler about him faking his death.
Yeah.
Oh, that was fun. But still, anyway. It's just crazy. But speaking of crazy though, E3 2018, that's gonna be a crazy event.
Ooh, crazy!
Yeah,
I'm not feeling. We are hosting it though.
Yeah, we'll be doing a first ever live stream, and yes. It's gonna be very, very crazy because
we'll publish a chart who's going to be attending. We're looking to get some special guests, including other members from the That's Not Canon podcast family. and guests that you might have heard from our old episodes, hopefully. Yeah, if we can get some of them back. Yeah. So we will be holding a sort of a viewing party, although we'll be doing not really a party either because we're not going to be together. But we will be doing one of those rebroadcasts with our own commentary, and we are looking at doing some entertainment between the shows.
Hopefully it'll be us screaming at Dark Souls or maybe Cuphead.
Please no.
But sadly though, one person that we might not see it this year will be TotalBiscuit.
Yes, shame.
Yeah.
As of recording, he passed away last night after his battle with cancer.
How long was his battle?
2 or 3 years. I think he was first diagnosed, I think a bit before E3 maybe. It's been a while into it. But he was diagnosed with cancer. He said, "Screw cancer." He got better for a bit. He got worse for a bit. Got better. Finally, they decided they couldn't keep him going because the treatment was having effect. We mentioned that a couple of weeks ago, and finally got him.
He was he got it on 24. It was 2014. He got the cancer, and then on his wife announced that John Bain had died. That's pretty sad.
Yeah. Most people are being respectful, but I've seen a couple of people who are being absolutely nasty just because they disagree with something. Please don't do that. Please don't drag his wife into your stupid argument.
Yeah.
It's a very hard time for his family, so everybody please do that.
Yeah, you get people like Ian Miles Chong, for example.
Yeah, let's not get into that. Just please respect his family.
Yeah, he'd be remembered.
He did a lot for us as an industry.
Inspire the generation of content creators. He should be remembered for rather than
all of his consumer advocacy.
Yeah, definitely. A guy like that at a young age.
So soon, yes. Especially just before E3, I loved his Snark Tank videos years ago.
No, yeah.
Do you remember those ones?
Not to the best of my knowledge. Humor me.
Basically, TotalBiscuit making sarcastic comments about E3 presentation.
But wait, don't most YouTubers do that nowadays? Like Angry Joe and
the Nerdcube have a wank incident a couple of years ago, 2015, 2016 maybe. He did the first time he did an E3 stream. He burned himself out because he did every show and it was quite a big event that year. And by the last one, he was they were putting up little hashtags and captions and stuff. And one of them was have a wank for when someone came on and was being, really wanky. He's a British guy, so that's the implication from that.
Yep.
And eventually they turned it into a hashtag and got people tweeting it. And it snowballed and became a trending tweet and hugely insane.
I think I
People
remember
were tweeting the Pope.
Yeah, I think I remember one stand-up comedian was also making the have a wank moment. I think it was Phil Drupitis on his old stand-up routines.
Okay, the no-cubed one was a bit of a reference to the show Bottom, I think. Shortly after that, he linked a video where it was a scene from one of the Bottom stage. They were doing the have a wank chant.
But still, it's being all that said and done.
Insane.
Yeah. But that's TotalBiscuit for you. He was while you may love him or hate him, he was insane and he was great at his work.
Yeah, he's done amazing things.
Yeah. Anyways, on that note, the show.
Okay.
So thank you for listening to the show. You can
We've
visit
had a whale of a time.
Oh yeah. I knew that you were gonna put a whale joke in there. Oh, by the way, in our live stream, you're gonna hear a lot of this.
I will have full control over muting anyone who takes a toe.
Okay. Oh, I know that.
Behave, DJ. Behave.
Anyways, thank you for listening to the show. You can visit us at That's Not Productions website. Feel free to maybe buy. You can email us at nerdsamalgamated@feedback, fan art. You can follow us on Facebook on our like page at Nerds Amalgamate. You can also take on the go with the audio platforms iTunes, and all the notes, all the links on this show will be posted on the show notes below. Anyways, see you then.
See ya.